Human, how's it going? Sorry, didn't see ya. Doesn't make much sense, right? If we compare the length difference between an amoeba and a human, we find the average human height is about 160 to 180 centimeters, while an amoeba is only 200 to 600 micrometers. That means a human is about 3,400 times taller than an amoeba. A difference that huge is kind of hard not to notice. But don't worry, it's not like I'm ignoring you or anything. Maybe it's just my glasses messing with my sight. Who knows? Anyway, let me introduce myself. I'm Uncle Amoeba. And by the way, uncle here isn't really an adjective, it's actually a noun. It's not like I'm saying I'm your uncle or something. Okay, one of you might ask, we already know what uncle means. But what does amoeba mean? Even though the people who don't know its meaning make up only a very small part of society, as Uncle Amoeba is kind of famous. And amoebas are kind of well known too. But let me tell you anyway. We amoebas are not just a single kind. We're a whole society, just like you guys. We have free-living amoebas, parasitic amoebas, and even unusual kinds, like the brain-eating amoeba, Naegleria fowleri. Don't worry, you don't have to remember that name. It's not like I'm going to give you an exam or something. So many types, right? But we all share one thing in common. I'm sure you've heard about it before. Of course, not counting those who don't even know what an amoeba is. We all share one thing in common. Pseudopodia. One of you might ask, why are they called false feet? Do they tell lies or something? Human? Of course not. They're called that because they look like feet, but they're not real feet. They're just extensions of the cytoplasm. Okay, so where do we amoebas usually live? Actually, we live almost everywhere. In freshwater, in soil, and sometimes even inside you or other living creatures. Easy, right? One of you might ask a smart question. Uncle Amoeba, why do you only live in freshwater? Do you guys have hypernatremia? Ha ha ha, funny. Of course not, human. To really understand this, you need to go back in time a few years, back to your school days. You probably studied something back then called osmotic pressure. You're not going to remember it anyway, so don't bother. But here's the deal. Water always flows to where there's more salt. Imagine a balloon. A balloon? Really, Uncle Amoeba? Yes, a balloon. What do you want me to do? Explain on myself? Just imagine a balloon. Inside this balloon, there's some water and some salt. If we put that balloon into fresh water, the salt concentration inside the balloon is higher than outside. So the water from the fresh water moves into the balloon. One of you might think, wait, are there really salts in fresh water? Uncle Amoeba, are you trying to fool us? Yes, human. There are salts in fresh water, but in much lower concentration than in salt water. Just focus. On the other side, if we put that balloon in salt water, the salt concentration in the salt water is way higher than inside the balloon. So unfortunately, the water inside the balloon gets forced out. I think by now you've got a pretty good idea. All you need to do is replace the balloon with the amoeba. Just imagine what the amoeba would look like if the water left it. Of course, we choose fresh water to live in, not salt water. I think by now you've got the basics. Of course, it's not the full picture. If we start talking about amoebas, we could go on until morning. So next time, when I talk about Naegleria fowleri, no one pops up asking, wait, what's an amoeba in the first place? And that's it, human. This is the end of our journey for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or don't. But you'll never know which microbe might be living in your... Well, you'll find out one day. Uncle Amoeba, signing off.